Jessica Horst. I'm a faculty member at the University of Sussex, where I direct the Word Lab. At the Word Lab, we explore how children learn their first language using toys and storybooks. It can be really difficult to figure out what toddlers are learning because you can't actually ask them, how do you know what this word means? You need to come up with something that's sort of like a game for them to keep their attention and something that's easy and fun for them to do. So on top of everything else that we're doing for our kids, we are our children's first teacher. So what can we do as parents when we're thinking about being our children's first teachers? One thing we can do is talk and talk and talk. It turns out that children who are spoken to more and parents who have more conversations with their kids, even if your kid's too little to actually respond, those kids have better vocabulary skills later. As parents, we try and think about times when we can fit it all in and we can talk to our children and help them gain a lot of exposure to language. And some times of day that come to mind are trying to have conversations at meal times or reading a bedtime story. But there are other times of day when you can talk to your child as well. For example, if you're doing a nappy change, you can talk about what you're about to do, about going to the park. You can tell a quick story as you're tying on shoes or packing your nappy bag, or even just repeat something that you've already told them. You can't repeat yourself too much with kids. They're hearing things for the first time. So there's a lot of times throughout the day when you can add language into your daily activity. Just talk about something you know. Tell your child about when you were little. And if you end up repeating yourself, that's really fine. The idea is just to kind of get in the habit of talking to your child. It's never too early to start talking to your child. In fact, your child can hear you before it's born. So in the last trimester, babies can actually hear their mothers pretty clearly, and their fathers or other adults. They are already picking up the rhythm of their native language. And so even from birth, your child is already ready to learn language. Another thing we can do is read storybooks to kids. It's never too early. Kids who go to school enjoying books more ultimately do better academically. Children are very good from learning from storybooks, which is great because parents and kids, everyone loves curling up with a good story. One thing we've discovered is that when children are asking for the same story again and again, it actually helps them learn. Children learn more words when you read the same story over and over. They learn more words from that than when you read them different stories that have the same new vocabulary in them. We've also discovered that when you read storybooks to children right before napping, that they learn more words than if you read and they do not nap afterwards. So if you're struggling to kind of find a good time to fit storybook reading in, try to do it right before sleeping. If you can help your children enjoy stories, foster sort of a love of books and literature, that's really a great gift you can give them. If I could think of 3 things to tell parents that they could do to aid their children's language development, I would suggest talking, reading, and a good night's sleep. So the more you talk to your child, the larger their vocabulary is going to be. The more often you read to your child, the more likely they're going to do well at school. And the more you can protect their sleep, the better as well. If you're concerned about your child's language development, trust your instincts. Go to your health visitor or your GP and try to get a referral to a speech therapist or a speech and language therapist who can help your child. If you're concerned, it's really helpful to get your child seen by a professional as early as possible so we can give them the help that they can use. In some ways, it can be harder to be a parent nowadays. There are some websites out there that try to scare parents and try to tell them that what you're doing isn't good enough, and they're just making parents more confused and anxious than they really need to be. If I could give any advice to new moms, I would say there's 2 things to think about. The first one is take care of yourself too. Just because you're now someone's mom doesn't mean that you're not still you. But my other piece of advice is that if you're thinking about, am I doing the best for my child? You're probably doing a fantastic job. Just by asking questions like that, you're probably on the track to just do a great job for your child and you can relax a bit.